Hey there, welcome to Between the Lines. This will be episode 2, and I think Gina's going to lead off with something good, I hope. But I would like you to like and subscribe. I'm going to ask you to do that right away so we can build this thing, and you're going to grow with us. So, Gina, do you have anything that's going to shock anybody?
Um, Today we're going to talk about the IRS just announcing a partnership with AI to crack down on taxpayers.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Crack down on us, man.
So they tell us it's to detect tax cheating and identify emerging compliance threats and improve case selection tools to avoid burdening taxpayers with needless, no change audits.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the funding it's for the technology. The funding for the technology comes from the $60 billion cash infusion allocated in last year's Inflation Reduction Act. And the funny thing is, despite repeated promises to people to crack down on wealthy taxpayers, because that's what they're always promising, the IRS has been targeting mostly low-income families for audits while largely steering clear of high-income earners.
Right.
And the IRS subjected low-income taxpayers to unbelievably high audit rates, over 5 times more than nearly everyone else.
Wow. I always think about this whenever we're doing taxes, the amount of time that we spend calculating everything we're doing, every move we make. And I keep questioning, is this what we're supposed to be doing with our existence on this planet? And how bad has it gotten? You know, wouldn't it be a lot better if we were born and you could actually just live as a free man and woman? You know, they're going to say, how are we going to fund everything? But Jesus, I mean, look at what we're funding. Basically, the entire world with obligations that we all have to work off. And, you know, I don't really see it going where it should go. I see a lot of wastefulness, and I see a lot of programs that just continue to grow that make it tougher on all the rest of us, on everybody. I mean, it's just one bureaucratic agency after the other, and one regulation after the other, and all this stuff's got to be paid for, and people got to be hired to track all this down. It's absolutely absurd. We've gotten to a really absurd level in every aspect, and taxes is definitely one of them. So, I mean, if you guys have any suggestions on what they should do, maybe write it down below in the comment section. You know, I'm probably just as tired of this as you guys are, just constant scare tactics and, you know, what's the next thing you're going to be pressured into. You know, we could really be a lot better off with a minimal consumption tax. When you buy something, you pay a tax, which we do. We do that now. But somehow we blow all of that and then need more and more and more. Just every little thing you do, it's a damn tax. It's nuts.
Something else I wanted to bring up that was kind of funny was the Inflation Reduction Act.
Right.
So, you know, whenever they name something, it's usually totally opposite.
100%.
That's what they're saying.
Patriot Act, you know, it's supposed to be good, but
I don't think we're seeing it reduced at this point.
No, it's not, because it has nothing to do with that. We have a debt-based system. So every single dollar in your pocket or your account, if you pull your dollar out, it says Federal Reserve note. A note is a loan, and that's what it is. It's a loan. It's literally debt. It's not actual money. It's not gold or silver, and that's money. It's literally a loan, and we're all playing with funny money. We're trading our time and labor for it, which is bizarre.
So another thing I wanted to share was something I read today was the American Library Association head, which is President Emily Drabinski, wants to destroy traditional family values by filling children's mind with pornography on gay people. Wow. Emily Drabinski, I believe is how you say her last name. So she's in charge of filling libraries with books. And she says they have an obligation to carry books about gay people doing gay things. And anyone who opposes this, in her view, is part of an angry white mob.
Oh, they have to be white.
She was actually elected, which I'm not sure who would have elected her.
She would have.
As the 2023 to 24 term. And Drabinski has said a lot of highly offensive things already, including the bizarre claim that Dewey Decimal System is not okay because the religious works it contains are overwhelmingly Christian and present heterosexuality as normal.
Think about this. Can you imagine how absurdly sick this person is in their mind that they're saying what is common in nature? Like if we just use just your common sense, which this idiot clearly doesn't have. She's sick. That in nature you have male and female, and that's actually normal. And the anomalies that happen in nature would be abnormal. And in normal cases, those would not survive and continue on. But she thinks that normal, right, is not normal. What nature does. Absurd, more absurd things that we're supposed to say is okay, but clearly it's not. Clearly it's not. What they're presenting to kids, they shouldn't be presenting any of that to kids. When you're an adult, you choose what you're doing.
And the only way we can fix this is to not participate or fund any systems that use these things or hire these people whatsoever, including school systems.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The same things are going into their library.
The downside is the schools, they're funded by property taxes, which, you know, I'll get into the whole thing about property taxes someday. But so you're forced to pay for it.
But you're also funding them when you're going to sports. So when you're going in there and paying for anything that you're doing,
well, you're
bringing them extra income.
You're funding them when you send your kid there because the federal funds come in then.
Right.
But extra. If your kid's not there, they don't get that funding. So, right. I mean, you know, you can kill two birds with one stone. You can save your kid's brain and his mind, and you can defund the stupidity. So what do you have? You go on the health.
So I have a health tip that I thought would wait till later, but I guess we can
let's do it now. Let's do it now.
So I read today that fewer than 1 in 4 adults achieve the amount of physical activity recommended. So that raises your risk of cardiovascular disease,
yes,
weak heart muscles, decreased blood flow in your body, leading to lower brain function and strokes. And I'm sure there's many other things. But actually, low levels of activity, such as 20 minutes of walking, can still provide substantial cardiovascular benefits and could reduce the harmful effects of inactive lifestyle on your heart.
That's all of us now, you know. We all sit way too much, even us. And the biggest thing is to get out and walk. I mean, honestly, all of us. Well, there's exceptions, of course, if you have a disability, but all of us should be able to get up and walk 5 miles and be fine. And I promise you, most of us can't. I know yesterday, Gene and I, we went on a hike that was supposed to be just a 3.4 mile hike at the Guntersville State Park. And those trails are not marked well at all. And we finally found a map like at the top of this mountain. We went late in the day. You know, we broke all the rules, except we didn't have water with us. And we get up there and I'm like, I think our vehicle's this way. And then Gina's like, I don't know. That might be a dead end because it said seasonal waterfall. And she's right. You can walk down there and then you got to walk back. And hey, now you just walked a lot further. So we ended up going a little further down the path and we got going. I was like, man, I know it's back that other way. So, and the sun's going down. So we were hightailing it back to that direction. And we start going down in there and the forest floor is coming up and it's just getting real dark down there. And we're like, are we just going into a much deeper part of the woods? And how's this going to work out? But we did end up running into a couple and I asked him, hey, is what was that trail
Terrell.
called? Terrell. I said, is Terrell Trail up ahead? You know, and they're like, oh yeah, you just keep going, you're gonna run right into it. So we kept going, and boom, right to our vehicle. It kind of come out right to our vehicle. So my initial instincts, where I thought we were, even though we were going corkscrewing up there and all over, I had a general direction where I knew the vehicle was, because we couldn't rely on the markings on the trail or lack thereof, because they're just not there in the poorly marked map. So yeah, they definitely need some upgrades on that, and I think we learned a little bit.
Yeah. Not go so late.
Maybe not go so late, but we're going to go again today somewhere, and it's afternoon, and we haven't even. Oh, geez, it's definitely afternoon, and we haven't even headed that direction. So we're approaching that 15-minute mark there, because we're trying to keep them right there for both of our benefits, because the reality is all of us spend too much time on these devices, and I mean, we are totally guilty of that, and we all need to work on setting limits and getting outside and getting active. That's really important for lots of reasons. You might need it someday. So maybe some tips on how you can do a little better in this current economy. If you haven't ever read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, I suggest that you read that, because it sets up a mindset that can benefit everyone. Even if you determine that you're determined you're not going to ever start a business, it will benefit you, and it's an easy read. Okay, so if I was going to say anything, I would say definitely do that, and maybe start looking into your 401k and determine whether that's really a good idea. But I would suggest reading that book first. And the reason why I'm talking about the 401k, if you have it in a traditional one that some managers managing, is the people that get rich off of that are the hedge funds and the manager. And most of the people that have the stuff, their money in there and putting the money away year after year after year, they don't get rich from that. With our current system, what occurs is by the time you get out, in most cases, not all cases, in most cases, is that money doesn't go very far. You'd be lucky if it goes far at all. There are exceptions. And maybe you have that exception, and that would be great. But just turning your money over to just some random hedge fund, and trust me, they don't have your interest in mind at all. They've got their own. They're playing with your money. What do you think about that, Gina?
I think none of my money's in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, none of mine is either.
I like to be able to touch and hold my stuff. No one else has control in it, and I can get into it
100%.
or get to it whenever I want, and no matter what happens.
Yeah, yeah. Assets. Assets are key. Assets are key. And most of the time your house is not an asset. And I know people argue that because they can leverage it. But they're something that you live in and you enjoy for the rest of your life. That's what they are. And they can be an asset depending on how you structure it. So keep that in mind when you're getting into a property. We're gonna be under 15 minutes. Is that gonna work?
Is that all you got?
I mean, yeah.
All right.
That's all we need.
That's all we have for today.
All right. We're going to go
Be
hiking.
the line.
Yeah. Hey, be the line and go hiking or do some push-ups or something later.